Hi, this is Kevin Martin with Piece of the Past. Today, we're going to talk about the skills of your authenticator. COAs come with forgeries. It's just a sad fact. Every day, if you Google on websites, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of outrageous mistakes that should never have been made by the so-called alphabet companies, PSA, JSA, Beckett, and so forth. They've stickered one absurd forgery after another. Now, if you go into a restaurant, your service depends entirely on your server, right? And it's entirely reliant on the skill of that server. You don't usually see a middle-aged or an older server giving you bad service. It's usually that young kid, unfortunately, who doesn't even want that job. You've heard the famous quote that you need 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. Thank you, Michael Jordan. Well, that's true. It's something that I know I've personally blown past years ago, since we're in our 41st year at this. Well, at the last two shows, I walked by and saw the JSA and the PSA and the Beckett booth authenticators. They look like they could barely shave. But let's face it, they're not authenticators. They're not on their masthead. They're not signing your letters. In fact, you don't know who's signing your letters. But they just take in the money, the submissions at the booth, and they send it off by email or laptops to someone else to look at. We don't even know who that is. They don't want you to look behind the curtain like in The Wizard of Oz. PSA, though, the biggest of the field, right? And they do make the least mistakes, and they should. They've been doing it now over 20 years. But in the over 20 years they've been doing it, when they started, they paid me for my exemplar file, hundreds of dollars, in fact, every month for years, because they recognized at that point, 20 years in the industry, I was the expert in my field of entertainment. That hasn't changed in the last 20-something more years. If anything, we've gotten better at what we do. So who do you want serving you? Well, there's been 3 in-print autograph magazines over the years: Autograph Collector, Pop Culture, and Autograph Quarterly. I was the contributing editor of 2. I wrote features and regular articles and columns in all of them. In addition to that, I'm one of the only court-certified experts in my field. In fact, twice court-certified. I've been a witness in cases that have been against these third-party fools over on eBay. So who do you want serving you? So when you ask yourself about someone's skills, do you want the one who makes mistake after mistake? Or do you want someone who, for example, like us, when we tell you in our submissions process your item is a forgery, we explain to you why. You don't get a form letter, which they copy from each other, by the way. They all say the same thing, which is just some nonsense on it about indentation and all. Who do you think has a better lab setup? I know we've spent a lot of money over the years, as has University Archives and R&R and so many other famous dealers in the field, to set up labs where we can check the age of ink on paper, the age of the paper. Can they do that? When you ask yourself, do I use PSA or JSA or Beckett? Ask yourself this: what does one do that the others don't do? Do they even advertise skill levels or a skillful authenticator by name? No, they don't. Ask yourself, why should you use one over the other one? Well, we don't think so either, and we don't think it should be an opinion, and we don't render an opinion. We tell you something that we guarantee at the end. So that's what these experts say. They're experts. That seems to be the only thing on their list of accomplishments, is that they say that they're experts. I've had 5 publishers publish over a dozen books in the field. Some of my books, in fact, have been used in the court by the FBI to put forgers away. And yet they got to silence the people who have actual skills so that they can promote their lack of skill-based service, which is selling their opinions. So they besmirch the reputation of all the great dealers in the field, which is why almost none of them even sell on eBay anymore. So folks, it's time to stop letting, at least at eBay, the wolves guard the hen house. Take the hobby back. It's time to use some common sense and just take the hobby back. Happy Valentine's Day. It's coming up, and happy collecting, everyone.